Good morning, everybody. Just a quick video. This is not a toolbox tour video this week. I'm going to be talking about some trouble I had with my blower motor resistor on my 2006 Impala, and I was kind of inspired to make this video as I was just watching Frugal Prepper's video, doing one on a vehicle as well. And if you guys aren't a subscriber to his videos, I suggest he's does some really good videos. So anyway, as people may know, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a weekend warrior. I'm actually a paramedic by trade. But I work on my own vehicles to try and save myself some money because I can't afford to take it to shops for most of the time. So I do this kind of stuff to save my money for myself and my friends. And like I just saved my friend probably $800 or $900 doing a brake job for her. So I was able to get the parts way cheaper than the dealership was going to get them for her. So say a little bit of a backstory on the car. So I have a 2006 Impala. It's probably at this point got about 268,000 K. It was a previous write-off. I bought it from a used car lot here in town. It was a deer strike, so all it needed to pass safety again is they had to put a different headlight in it, the bumper cover, and the windshield washer reservoir. So it wasn't major damage at all. It was just because of the mileage. I think the car at the time had like 212,000 K on it. So that's why it was written off as more the mileage, not so much the damage. So the car's been really good. I've had to replace a few I think I've replaced all the wheel bearings at this point. I've done like a plug wire or spark plugs and O2 sensor, just your basic wear items, new tires, those kinds of things. But generally the car's been solid. But recently in the last 6, 7, 8 months, I've been having some trouble with the fan for like the blower motor. It would just randomly cut out. You would still get heat or cooling. It was working on, it was having the trouble on air conditioning or on heat. It would just be any random speed, all of a sudden it would just shut off. And it just was random times. It was really weird and intermittent. You'd still get the heat, you still get the cooling, but no fan control. You'd move the dash wherever you wanted and nothing would happen. So, and I apologize, I'm not selfieing this, but I don't know how to swap it back and forth. So anyway, first thing I did some testing and stuff and trying to figure stuff out. And I end up putting a new resistor in it because I've had other vehicles where this has been the problem and that was the cause. And that seems to be the most common cause. So I put a resistor in it and everything seemed good for a couple months. All started acting up again. So I was like, okay, well, if it wasn't the resistor, I'm getting different voltages to the blower motor, but maybe it's like an intermittent thing. I was talking to a mechanic friend. He thought maybe there's something inside of it where it's like, it's having trouble, the powers having trouble overcoming the initial startup of the fan. So maybe that's why the trouble is happening. So I put a new blower motor in it and went a couple weeks and then trouble's back again randomly. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So I thought, no, maybe, I've already installed this blower motor. I can't return it, but I checked and the resistor I had warranty. So I thought, well, maybe, I've had this happen where I bought a brand new part and the brand new part was actually damaged. So I thought, what the hell, it's under warranty. I'll go put another resistor in it because it doesn't cost me anything. And it seemed good for about a month. And then it was cutting in and out again. And it's starting to get to be fall here in Saskatchewan, where I'm from here in Canada. So, going to start needing the heat pretty soon. And this car is basically what I use it for, is traveling back and forth to the city. My daughter lives in a city but not quite 2 hours away. I get her on my days off. She lives with her mom the rest of the time. So I bought the car basically for commuting back and forth because it gets like mid-30s for miles per gallon for fuel economy. So that's helped me save a lot of money. But anyway, so I'd taken it to another shop. I had some other stuff I needed scanned. So they were checking out. They couldn't see any code popping up. They thought it was really strange. They couldn't even make it replicate, the problem. So I thought, okay, the last ditch effort. Maybe it's the control module. So I got a used one from a wrecking yard here in Saskatchewan and put it in, and then everything seemed fine. And now a week goes by, same problem again, just random intermittent. So I'm at my wit's end. I'm trying to learn more about electrical diagnosis and stuff, and my brother's been trying to help me teach me some things, and that's the thing where I have troubles. I'm trying to learn more, and this has been kind of a long learning experience. And so anyway, I recently, just this last week, I took it to the dealership, I thought maybe there's a pattern failure on these cars, or maybe there's a recall paperwork, back in the day for this model of car that they might have some information on. So I left it with them for a couple of days. They couldn't replicate the problem. So they said, as soon as it acts up again, bring it down and we'll get it in right away. So I got back from a transfer the other night. It was 8 o'clock at night, and I just had them leave the keys in it. And I fired it up. Fan's not working right away. So at this point, like, they've had it for 2 days. They couldn't get it to do it. As soon as I fired it up, it's not working. And I was so frustrated. I laughed and then I cried because I'm at my wit's end. I can't do this anymore. So I drive it home, park it, get up in the morning, go to work. It's working fine. And I thought, this is really just weird. I couldn't get it to stop working. So then at lunch, my phone was a little low. So I plugged my phone in, and all of a sudden, the fan cuts out. I was like, what the hell? So I unplugged my phone charger, fan kicks back on. Plug my phone charger back in, fan shuts off. And I tried both sockets because mine's got two underneath the dash, and it's doing it both on the same thing. So then I take it straight to the dealership, and I'm like, you guys are not going to believe this. Bring out the service manager. Of course, everybody's on lunch, so mechanic's not there. But anyway, bring out the service manager. I show her. She's just like, wow, I've never seen that before. So, and then we unplugged my phone from the charger and just had the charger plugged in. If the charger was plugged in by itself, fan's working fine. As soon as I plug my phone into it, the fan dies. So I take it back after everybody else has done lunch, and I wait there for a little bit. The mechanic was working on another person's vehicle, and I've known this gentleman for a long time. My dad used to actually work before this company or this dealership's name was on the building. The previous one, my dad had worked for that dealership as the auto body guy, and this particular mechanic worked there back in the day. So I've known him for a long, long time. And so we're chatting, and I'm like, watch this. And I showed him, and he's like, are you kidding me? He's laughing because he was working on it for 2 days and couldn't get it to do it. And he thought it was this most ridiculous thing. So they took apart the dash and tried to see if they could figure out something. And the only thing we could figure out was it's this particular USB thing. Now this one has both, like two different ones on it. They've tried both of them, and it would do it with either one. They went and got a similar thing from another vehicle. I think they tried even two of them. Neither of the other ones would do it, but this one does. So they did voltage tests while this was going on, and apparently, I might be a little fuzzy on the numbers, I apologize, but there's about like a 3.2 volt signal that goes from the resistor up to the control module. That's, controls your fan. So when they had this plugged in with a phone plugged into it, the voltage bumped up to 4, but it was intermittent. So it was causing an interference basically, and it wasn't letting the signals go through to control the fan. But as soon as you unplug this, the fan kicks on. And it blew up. We were all just laughing because they've never seen this happen before. And like, I read through what I had tried testing and what I'd tried for replacement parts. And he's like, you followed the logical steps. He's like, I said, I don't know how to test it properly, but he's like, you started with the most logical one, and the next most logical one, then the last most logical one. He's like, so yeah, I can understand why you did the parts swapping in the order that you did. So anyway, I'm going to see if this will do the same thing in my Jeep. I've never had a problem with the Jeep heater fan, but I don't remember what brand this is. I think it's just like a gas station one, but if this is plugged in and my phone's plugged into it, it does that. So one thing I'm still going to try is I'm going to get another one of these. I think I have got one in my Jeep. I'm going to swap them, and I'm going to plug. So maybe it's not necessarily this part. Maybe it's my phone causing the problem. But I have never seen that before ever in my life. Never heard of it, nothing. So I thought I'd share that. It's such a random, crazy cause. And it had everybody in that dealership stumped because they've never seen that before. So, but at least it's working now. The heater fan works perfect. And so far, it hasn't cut out again. It's been a couple days. And so we'll see how it goes. But it looks like we've got the problem solved. And while I'm doing video, I thought I'd show this quick. anybody who's watched some of my videos before know I have a Jeep, and I'm in kind of into like the overlanding, and I take it for adventures and camping and stuff like that. And so I've been working on this project. Originally with my camp kitchen, I've been using this big black tote for all like my stove and all that stuff, and it takes up way too much room. I do have a little table on the tailgate of my Jeep, or the back door, for I can cook on, but that's where all my gear was in. So I was in Princess Auto, for all you Canadian fans, and found this. This is, I believe, from 1979. It's a Czechoslovakian Army medical kit, and I got looking at it. They're like 99 bucks or whatever, which is a lot of money for me right now. But I got looking at this and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then I opened it up. And it has drawers. And I got looking at these drawers and I was like, the camp stove would fit in that. And sure enough, it does. So I have my camp stove in this middle one. That camp stove's pretty ratty. It's from 1985. It's named Oscar, because the inside's all yellow and green. It was actually in our house when we had our fire. So that stove has survived a house fire. I painted it with barbecue paint because all the paint on the outside was rusting because all the paint had burnt off. Works mint. Never had a problem with it. But anyway, so it came with, there was foam in some of these drawers. This one, I took one of the, there's these little, these inserts that are on the floor there. There's the shop pit bull. So there's those inserts there. So I took one of them, it's over here. I cut a couple chunks out and made these little dividers. I still have a few things to throw up here, and then this one has got like the stove. This is going to be where the dishes go, and I don't have all my dishes in my pots and pans. I'm just kind of playing around with how it's going to fit, and it's going to fit. So and then cutting board goes there. There's some Ziploc bags in there. Close this up. Oh, also, this piece is a table. It's a little thing. There's a wing on this side up here, and there's one on the other side that I've since modified, and just slides in there, and it's got a brace, so it's can put the stove on top, and I got a prep table, and it's like meant to be. And so what I'm working on now is I had an extra couple 50 caliber ammo cans. And they look like this. This one was one I had in the tools in the Jeep a while ago, so it's got stickers on it. But I use these little propane tanks just for fitting in a room. So I've took one of these ammo cans down and I cut it, and I just got it kind of clamped together. I was waiting till I'm a second car, which I am today. I might work on this later. So this is going to be my propane tank holder. So I'm going to put another little divider in between to keep them separated, and then I might store something in the middle. And then I've kind of cut a groove in the bottom, because what I'm going to do is I drilled the rivets out on the one little piece down here, just threw some paint on to protect the wood, and it's going to be covered up anyway. But that piece is going to go here underneath. So my propane tanks are going to be mounted on the side. But this box is going to be about half the size what that black one was. Maybe a little taller, but like half the width. And it's organized. With this other one, I used to have to dig everything out to get to what I needed. This one, it's all drawers. And I just think it looks cool. And it actually even still had the booklet inside of it in their language that it listed all the medical equipment they were supposed to have. Like, there was a tray that had like the cutouts for like forceps and scalpels and all that stuff, and bandaging. And so really, really cool. I don't know if all the Princess Autos across Canada have them right now, but if you're into camping at all and you live in Canada, I would go get one of these things, because this door didn't close because I had this handle up a little bit. You have to have the handles closed. But when you close that, it seals. It's waterproof. And it's got these good handles on the side so I can strap it down. And this is wood with metal on the corners. So if I want to add some more tie downs, I can just screw it right into the wood. And it's like 1/4 inch plywood, I think. I think it's 1/4 inch. Yeah. So I can just take some screws and screw right into that board if I need to, or bolt it through with like a carriage bolt from the inside or whatever if I want to add more tie downs to it. So because needed something to kind of occupy my mind. A lot going on right now, so it's a little kind of a mindless task, and I like puttering and figuring this stuff out. So that I might be welding on that this afternoon. But anyway, I just wanted to share this video about that heater fan thing, and it was quite the learning experience. Luckily, I can return the control module I'd bought, because there's a 30-day return policy on it. So I'm going to drop that off this upcoming week when I go to the city, so I get some money back. But probably it was about $300 and some learning experience. But would have been more if I would have had to pay somebody to change those other parts out. Luckily for me, the dealership was awesome. They only charged me half an hour for diagnostics, so that's pretty cool. But very nice of them to do that. But it was kind of a learning experience for them too, because they'd never ran into that before. So anyway, that's all I've got. If anybody else has any like random weird things that have happened with their vehicles, comment below. I'd get a kick out of reading them. So thank you. Take care.